Hello BookTube, YouTube, this is Johnny. Thought I'd make a video. The last video was an AAW used book sale in South Haven that I did a 1-minute little video, and I thought I would show you the books that I got at that sale. And let me lower this. So yeah, I thought I'd show you those used books that I got at that AAW used book sale. It's South Haven at the beginning of August. They have a Blueberry Festival, and they always have this AAW used book sale at the First Congregational Church there in South Haven. And we've gone over the years. Some years we haven't gone due to different reasons, but anyway, today is August the 12th. It's a Monday. It is 11:47 here in Southwest Michigan, down in the lower level. And yeah, I'm not really going to go much into the books, just to show them. And as you'll see, the books that I get, like the first thing I told you, when I go to a used book sale, I go right to the biography section. And then I go, well, at this sale they have Prime books. And what Prime's books are books that are currently published and very popular. And I bought one Prime book, which goes for $6. And I bought this one, North Woods by Daniel Mason. I have 2 other novels by him. I found the one, The Piano Turner, and I had another one, I think The Far Country, and I can't find it. But this got a lot of buzz this year. Maybe it was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, and I think it might have won. I'm not sure. My edition was published in 2023. Yeah, I wanted to read this. So I bought it for $6 because the stories seem to be like a sweeping novel about solitary house in the woods of New England, told through the lives of those who inhabit it across the centuries, daring, moving tale of memory and fate. It just sounded something I want to read someday. So, but then I usually go to biographies. And I found you know, I'm looking here. Yeah, I collect biographies on John Quincy Adams and John Adams. I collect biographies. You'll see this. I won't go into detail, but this one I didn't have in my John Quincy Adams, The Militant Spirit. And this is by James Truebell. I didn't have any other books by him. He is a columnist and regular contributor at the Foreign Policy Com, teaches foreign policy at New York University. Traub lives in New York City. So yeah, I like reading, like I've said repeatedly, I like reading American history through biographies, and so I got this one. And I also picked up this one at the biography table by Simone de Beauvoir, Transatlantic Love Affair, Letters to Nelson Algren. As you all know, I have been reading Nelson Algren, A Life on the Wild Side. I haven't got into it recently, but I was reading it a while back, and so this goes along with this by him. Yeah, I saw a biography of Nelson Algren, and I didn't buy it because I thought it was this one, and now I look at the title of it. I don't think it was. So I should have bought it. But you live and learn. I always tell myself when I go, if I see a book, a used book, and it's cheap, I mean, buy it. And if I have it, then I'll just, if I have a double, then I'll take it to Blue Stockings Bookshop for in-store credit, or I'll take it to a thrift store. I should have bought it. Now I kind of regret it. But I like biographies. If you're going to read a biography like a Nelson L. Green, I like to read 3 at the same time. I did watch on Amazon, there was a documentary on Nelson L. Green that I watched a couple weeks ago. So it was really insightful. But then I got these letters. They had a love affair, and I was pleased to find this at the sale. I collect the writings of Simone de Beauvoir. I also picked up at the biography table Mr. Jefferson's Lost Cause, Land, Farmers, Slavery, and Louisiana Purchase by Roger G. Kennedy. I collect biographies on Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, John Quincy Adams. I have some on George Washington. And then I go into Lincoln, Grant, and then in the 20th century, Theodore Roosevelt, FDR. I do have single biographies on Lyndon B. Johnson. I got rid of all my Nixon material, my Kennedy, my Truman. I do have biographies on Wilson, but I primarily Jefferson, Lincoln, Grant, John Adams, John Quincy Adams, people like that, FDR. So I got this one for my, and this is by Robert G. Kennedy. I did find this from my Abraham Lincoln collection. Lincoln's Sword, The Presidency and the Power of Words by Douglas L. Wilson. Yeah, it looked interesting. It has about his speeches, like on the Proclamation of Emancipation. Anyway, I got this from my Lincoln collection. This is by Douglas L. Wilson. Lincoln's Sword, The Presidency and the Power of Words. I also found at the biography table Harold Action, The Last Michis. I think they were a very wealthy traders in Vienna during the Renaissance. I have his biography on Nancy Milford, Harold Action. Yeah, he wrote a lot of books, and Sir Harold Action was born and has lived most of his life in Florence, has written a large number of books, including Memoirs of an Ascetic, The Bourbons of Naples, The Life of Nancy Mitford, and others. I just like books like this, and I don't collect them necessarily, but it looked interesting, so I bought it. And then I bought The Celtic World, edited by Miranda J. Green. I collect books on Druids, the Celtics, Celtic World, and this was a big, huge, like a reference book. Has a chapter, The Nature and Function of Celtic Art by Ruth and Vincent McGaw. Celtic Seafaring and Transport. The First Towns, Power and Politics and Status, Chapter 6. Just a big reference book on this Celtic world. Then I looked for American history. I collect the books of Samuel Eliot Morrison, very famous American historian. This one is Maritime History of Massachusetts, 1783 to 1860. That magic era when America first became a world power. Salem boys were more at home at Canton, which is than in New York. So, yeah, I collect his books. He wrote a lot of books. I don't have that many of them, but I picked that up. I also collect the books of Peter Ackroyd. I've shown you my Ackroyd collection. Peter Ackroyd is the author of London, a biography which I read a couple years ago. Shakespeare, the biography. Thames, the biography. Venice, Pure City. Acclaimed biographies on T.S. Eliot, Dickinson, Blake, Sir Thomas More. Several successive novels. He's won the White Bread Book Award for biography, the Royal Society of Literatures. And this goes on and on. He's won all kinds of, but he's the one of I collect anything that he's written. And this I found a little book called The Secret History of Beneath the Streets, London Under by Peter Ackroyd. So I was pleased to find that. Anything by him, I immediately just grab it. And I collect books on London. And I found this book in, I think it was in history, The Dawn Watch, Joseph Conrad in a Global World by Maya Jandoff. I collect books on Joseph Conrad, biographies, literary studies, all his novels, short stories. He was from Poland originally, changed his name to Joseph Conrad. I saw this on Amazon and book reviews this year. I think it came out last year. Let me see. Came out in 2017. And I've been looking at it. I don't think I have it. At least when I cataloged it in my library thing, I didn't have it. So I was pleased to find it. The Dawn Watch, Joseph Conrad in a Global World by Maya Jandoff. So I was glad to find this. It's like $3. Hardbacks are $3. Paperbacks I think were $2. These books are not... another book I got. I'll show you. I found at the AAW book sale there in South Haven, the collected stories of Melvis Gallant. Now I have, this is her collected stories. The New York Review has published 3 volumes of her short stories that I collect. I think I read the Paris Stories by Melvis Gallant because my bookmarker is in it. But I have this one by her, the Paris Stories, Melvis Gallant. And then I have The Cost of Living, Early Uncollected Stories by Melvis Gallant. And then I have Varieties of Exile by Melville Gant. These are all selected with an introduction by Russell Banks. And then I have in hardback Across the Bridge Stories by Melvis Gallant. So I was really kind of pleased to find this big collected stories. Now, of course, these stories in here are found in those 3 volumes, but also I pre-ordered, the New York Review is publishing the uncollected stories of Mavis Gallant. So I pre-ordered that, and they published these 3 volumes of her short stories. So that's one thing I've been reading since I got this. I've read 3 short stories out of this. I've always enjoyed her stories, short stories. I like T.C. Boyle's short stories, Saul Bellows' short stories, Aaron Shaw short stories. What I'll do is I'll be reading a novel and I'll take a break, and for a couple of days I'll read short stories. So I got this at that used book sale. In our library, you'll see those in neighborhoods, they have little libraries by people's houses, and they put books in there, and you walk by and you can take a book or you can put books in. And my wife, she goes for a walk every morning or in the afternoons, and she saw a book in the little library up the street from where we live, and she said, you might want it. So as we were driving by to go to South Haven the other morning, I went across the street and I grabbed the book, and what it was The Last Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper. Now I have this in a couple of editions, but this has illustrated by N.C. Wyatt, and has his illustrations in it, which are kind of famous. This is a reprint of a 1940 edition by Random House. See, it has those special illustrations. So, and the Leather Stocking Tales by James Fenimore Cooper are one of my favorite series of novels. I've read them all. I had the complete works of James Fenimore Cooper I bought from the Book Nook, the library used bookstore, a couple of years ago. But when I was dehauling my library and getting rid of books, I got rid of it. I don't know why. I didn't have any room for it anymore. But I like the illustrations in here. See, it has these kind of illustrations. Also, when we came back from South Haven and we were driving to Holland to come home on that day, my wife says, you want to go to Culver's and get a hamburger? And if you know me, I won't refuse going to Culver's and getting a hamburger and onion rings and a malt. And after we did that, right across the highway from Culver's, the restaurant is Salvation Army. Of course, I had to stop to see if they had any books before we went home for that day. And I found one book at Salvation Army, and it was Capitalism in America, A History by Alan Greenspan and Adrian Woolbridge. So I found that I like reading about America, not only its history, church history, about its presidents, the colonial period, the time of the American Renaissance, Transcendentalism. I'm not really into the Civil War, the Gilded Age. I like reading about the 60s in America, the 50s, the Cold War, things like that. But I do buy books on economics once in a while, even though I don't have that kind of mind for the financial world. But it looked interesting. Just an overview of capitalism in America. So I got it. So that's the books I got at the sale. I do have books over there. I got six used books from thrift store, but I'll show those in a future video. So those are the used books I got at the AAW, and they're in South Haven. It was Friday, last Friday. Today is Monday. It was last Friday. This coming Thursday, my wife and I, we go to a used book sale at Hudsonville Public Library, which is always kind of, hit and miss. But right around the corner from the Hudsonville Library there are a couple of thrift stores that we can visit on the way home that sell used books. So I'm still reading the Glastonbury Romance at Night by John Copper Powles. Still writing in my composition book at night before I go to bed. I always keep a bookmark where I'm at. I keep a picture of a neighborhood hawk. I'm always taking pictures of birds and flowers. This year my flower garden was overrun by some kind of weed that I have never seen in all the years that we've lived here. The whole garden, wild garden, was this weed, and only a few flowers were able to burst up through that huge thick of weeds. And I don't know what I'm going to do. But I also take pictures of little birds. So I don't know what I'm going to do. The end of August, when we go into early autumn, I'm going to just go out there and dig up every single thing and rip it up by the roots and hope that next year that these weeds will be gone. So I was kind of disappointed because I planted wildflowers, and I think what happened, I bought some soil from a garden place, bags of soil, and I put it there, and I think that's where those weeds came from, which makes me kind of mad because it said that it was organic soil, that you would think that they wouldn't sell soil that had seeds in it. So my flower garden was just overrun with these weeds, and it was just very disappointing. But I did get a few flowers. I don't know where they came from. Sunflowers, but nothing really. So I was kind of disappointed. So yeah, I've been reading my Christian books in the mornings and reading short stories, writing in my diary. I got a book in the mail, I think last week. I got a book coming in mail this week on a Wednesday. My birthday is this coming Wednesday. We're going to a used book sale at Hudsonville Library Thursday. Visit some thrift stores. So there's always books coming into the Hermit Hut. So not much else to report. So I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I always get kind of freaked out when I come to my birthday. Last Tuesday I had a session with my psychologist, and I told him about, when I come around the end of another year of my life, I look over my life and I just kind of weep tears of repentance, contrition, regret, and sorrow. I always wish I could have lived a perfect life, but I lived, I'm a sinner saved by grace. But anyway, yeah, Wednesday we'll probably go out for dinner with our oldest son and his wife and our granddaughters. And yeah, Carol will have cake and ice cream here afterwards. We'll leave the restaurant and come here and sing happy birthday. Yeah, I thought about buying a bunch of books to treat myself. I already did. I bought all these books. I can't see why buying myself birthday gift books when I already have books, and I'll be getting books Thursday. And I might go to thrift stores today. I haven't gone this week to local thrift stores, just around where I live. So anyway, I thank you for subscribing. I thank you for your comments. Do pray you're all doing well. If you got any questions you want to ask me, August the 15th is like an anniversary in my BookTube. I've been here 8 years. I think I started in 2015. I started making videos primarily for BookTube. So if you got any questions you want to ask me, just feel free. Usually, if you watch my videos for 8 years, you know everything about me. You know about my childhood, you know about my marriage, you know about my education, you know about my anxieties and struggling with depression, and that I'm a loner, and that I'm a lover of the Lord Jesus Christ, and that I live by the Holy Bible. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm a rambler. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for subscribing. Do pray you're having a good reading week, that you're having a good month, and may the Lord bless. Until next time, bye.